Hello and welcome to SoBricks. I'm Adam and this is SoBricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be doing a special Halloween day video here where I'm looking at the Lego Super Mario Luigi's Mansion Haunt and Seek set. This is set number 71401. It has 877 pieces, and I paid $90 for this set. This set is retired. It came out in, I think, 2022, so a couple years old at this point. It has since retired. I think it retailed for $80 at that time. It is on the larger end of the spectrum for like the course builder stuff. I think there's like certain sets, Bowser's, there's like a train one, and I don't know, there are some other maybe I shouldn't even say that this is on the larger side. It feels like it to me, but I'm pretty limited on my experience with this. But I am really excited to look at this. Partially, it is sort of, I was sort of covering some Halloween and spooky adjacent stuff in the previous weeks, looking at like the minifigures series 14, looking at a couple small holiday sets that Lego puts out that aren't affiliated with any particular theme. And I was sort of wondering like what I was going to look at for the actual day of Halloween. And I think this is what I am going to be going with here. It's kind of, I think it's fitting enough. This is sort of, it's based on like Luigi's Mansion stuff, like those games in the Super Mario universe. It is called Haunt and Seek, kind of like hide and seek, but also like haunt and haunted stuff, Halloween. It's got also, I don't know, it's got like some sort of rhythmic echoing of like trick or treat, haunt and seek, stuff like that. And, the game is about a haunted mansion and hunting down ghosts, and there's like all sorts of stuff of that in here. And because I have since acquired a actual playable character here, the interactive Lego Luigi, I thought it fitting to take a look at a Luigi's Mansion set and be able to actually show what the different scannable items and elements do in this set. So I'm excited to take a look at this. It's also got some like characters and different things that I haven't ever covered before. So I am going to take a look at this. Yeah, it's retired, but I got it for about retail. It seems like the market price of this is around that $100 range or something. So a little bit over retail. Hasn't been gone for too long. I've seen some on some retailers and some, aftermarket websites for a lot more than that. But I think, 100 or less is probably where this sort of falls right now. I'm really excited to look at this. So that's what we're going to do. So in this video, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at this happy Halloween builds for this Lego Super Mario Luigi's Mansion Haunt and Seek set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. And then I wanted to talk about the build. We start off here with one of the ghosts. This is the garbage can ghost, and then we move on to the kind of central hub of everything, which is this really nice rotating hallway that's in the center of this haunted mansion here. And this is going to be our kind of point in which we can get access to all of the different rooms and all of the different sections. And in this set, all the different kind of modules that we use for kind of course building there. So we build this out, some archways, different stuff. We built a little bit of a door. We can add that onto that turntable. Onto the next one here, we're going to build another one of the ghosts. This one is the grabbing ghost, and is a little bit different there on its little stand. And then we're going to work on this this interesting thing that I think is supposed to be the restroom or the bathroom area, but I'm not 100% sure. It's got some things that seem to indicate that, and other things maybe where it doesn't. There's like a kind of a nice, what I took to be like a mouse hole as well, some like wall sections there. On to the next one, we are laying the groundwork, which I came to realize during the full review that maybe this is supposed to be the rec room area or something like that. It could probably be a dining area as well, but I think there's a different one that maybe more accurately fits the dining room description. So we tile out that whole kind of area there, and then we build this kind of mechanism for this little moving table thing, which I maybe is a billiards table or a pool table or whatever. Working on the next section here, we're building a section of the wall that's a little bit expanded out, which you can see we're adding a character to in Toad there. So that's one of the other characters in this set. And we build this kind of like picture frame cage for him that we need to rescue him out of. Here we're working on something that I think more accurately can be called the dining room there, with kind of a plate covered up by something to keep the food warm and a goblet and a candelabra. Here we're going to work on the bedroom, so we do this really nice kind of platform, and this has some great functionality as well. All these little modules have fun little things for the course builder and playability and different stuff. We're working on the bed skirt here. This bed was done in a different way than I anticipated, so that was really, really cool, and that does make for this fun sort of jumping on the bed feature there to get access to stuff. Here we are going to work on King Boo themselves, who is also in this set, so we have that big 6x6 tile produced really, really well for the face there, and then we're going to work on the castle for King Boo here, and this was really interesting. Had some techniques used for this functionality here that I was really, really happy with. There was actually kind of a lot more that this could do than I anticipated, and it all kind of comes together in a really nice way, while also keeping sort of the motif of like this tower or this castle and this kind of haunted mansion type thing. So I was really, really impressed with this. And then on to the next bit here, we're going to make a bunch of other wall sections, which I started off by building the two that are identical, and I started off building them wrong, so I had to correct that. And then there's another one that we build here, which hopefully somebody from the audience maybe will be able to tell me what is on this wall section, because it has a little bit of an extra thing on it. And then we'll build the start area and all the other kind of course connecting pieces, and I kind of assemble this into one orientation, but the possibilities are potentially endless with enough expansions and different things. And even within this, there's a lot of options to change this up, but kind of get it all orientated around this central hub, and that's everything. So now on to my review for this set. Thank you, and happy Halloween. Okay, so that is this Lego Super Mario Luigi's Mansion Haunt and Seek set. This is pretty cool, pretty fun, pretty impressive. It is big. It does take up, at least in my recording situation here, it takes up, a lot of space, and there's actually going to be a lot to look at. So we're going to go through it, and I'm going to try to do it relatively quickly. But we know how that goes. At least I know how that goes a little bit here. So no minifigures. It is Lego Super Mario stuff, but we do have characters here. So we will look at those. And the first couple I want to call out are these ghost characters. So, whoops, I lost part of one. For those, unfamiliar with Luigi Mansion, which I am part of, I think. I'm not super familiar with Luigi's Mansion or the Super Mario games themselves, but this one is the first one you build, the first bag of pieces. This is a garbage can ghost, and this is pretty interesting. So it's built like a lot of Mario characters. It's like brick built throughout here. We do use like bricks with Technic pinholes in it. These arms are a little bit different than the ones for other characters, like we'll see with in this set, and if we looked at like the interactive character. So those are a little bit different. They just have a different kind of shape to them. They still have the clip in the center, but they have kind of this extra hand area molded around them, which is kind of nice. This one is holding a banana, and like other Super Mario stuff, this is printed. So we have the printed eyes on this slope piece here, printed mouth here. Something about this really feels to me like I don't think it's an accident that some of Luigi Mansion stuff has a kind of like Ghostbusters-y type thing. There's a whole thing with like the vacuum stuff. I can't even remember what it's like called the poltergust or something like that. And unfortunately, the poltergust is not in this set, but there's a different one with Professor Egad or whatever, that does come with that, like their lab, and does come with the poltergust, I think. And so this one doesn't come with it, but this kind of reminds me of like Slimer, sort of, or I don't know if that's necessarily the, appropriate name for that character, but I think it's recognizable as that. So kind of feels like that to me. This is printed. Print quality on these is okay. There's actually some instances in this where I thought the print quality could be better, and I actually think, from my experience, the print quality on Lego, like Nintendo, Super Mario stuff has actually been pretty good. But, the mouth is printed there. The eyes are printed there. I think some of the opacity could be better on the eyes, especially for that lighter color. But that is nice. Build for this, super simple, super straightforward, not a big deal. They do have the banana. They do have the scannable thing on the back. So like pre-applied sticker there, and we can see the little icon that is supposed to look like the garbage can ghost that we can scan. This is put on one of the like base plates that has then a clear 1x1 like round or cylindrical brick piece here. So that's just clear, and that helps it make it look like it's floating or flying or sort of moving around ghostily. And I think that's nice. So that is one of the characters we get there. The second one we get is a grabbing ghost. Again, there's something about this that feels very like Slimer to me, but also feels very just Ghostbusters to me. So it's built a little bit different. It's got a different shape there. And we use some brackets in here, some different stuff, kind of build out a tail there. We have the different kind of barcode pre-applied sticker there for scannable stuff. The arms are the same, but here we have them in a different color. And we have some different printing here. So we have the mouth on kind of a 2x2 slope or curved rounded slope piece there, and then we have the same piece, but these eyes are going in a different direction than the other one there. And again, this printing on a green, like a lighter color-ish relative, lighter than say black or something like that. They do okay. This one's on red, and so like the black actually doesn't even look as opaque as maybe I would want it to. And the like teeth area I think could be a bit better, but we do the big mouth there. And then we have the eyes, and again that kind of lighter color, the glowing sort of eyes for this. I think I'm used to not seeing too much bleed through from the plastic color, the brick color or something like that on Super Mario stuff. And I think these are maybe a little bit lacking, so I would have liked to see that there a little bit more. The next one we have is Toad. Toad has been available in lots of different sets. This one is kind of interesting though. I think the face here is really interesting. Build Toad up on these Lego Mario character feats, and then we use some pieces up here like a round brick. Now this round brick that is printed for Toad, it has the Technic pinholes on either side. We add the arms in there, but the opacity for the white and for the skin tone or flesh tone or tan or whatever that's up the top, that's the color of Toad, and even these kind of stripes here on the side is not as good as I would want it to be. And I think it's like really noticeable when up against kind of just the white there. It's also maybe a little bit misaligned. Just we see this extra bit of blue over there where it's not as prevalent over on the other side. So that printing quality could have been better. And then looking at like the printed color over the blue versus what the actual plastic looks like, I think is a little bit of a bummer. We build the head. I think it's a really interesting face that they used for Toad here, which is kind of fun. We do have the kind of mushroom cap there printed all around the side, and then we have the bit up there. It sits at a bit of an angle, which is really nice. And then we have King Boo, I believe here. So this one is really great. Now, part of the deal with that, and Boo and King Boo and different things are in other sets, but this one I really like. So we have the nice like 6x6 tile there that is printed. Of course, we're printing on white here, so we're not too concerned. And the printing quality for all this looks really good. Have a little bit of a crown up there with the jewel using that gold kind of egg piece there. And this is just a box essentially, but it's got some different things. It's got some studs on the side to make these little like wings or arm area things there. And it's got a little extension out the back for maybe kind of a tail. The scannable thing for this one The scannable thing for this one is on the bottom of it, and it's got this nice kind of crystal or translucent, I think pink, purplish color 2x2 brick there used that helps attach it. And actually, there's supposed to be another extra 2x2 round plate that will connect to the bottom of that. So let me get that over there so we can see what that's supposed to look like. So we have that on the bottom again, which makes it look a little bit like it's maybe floating or different things, which is nice to see. And I'm just really pleased with this. I think this is really fun, really cool here. So those are the 4 characters that exist in this set. Now, one of the things that doesn't come in this set is the interactive character, or the playable character here. And while we're doing this, I will bring this out and show what these scan as. Now, Toad, it doesn't have a scannable thing there, but the grabber has something. And he makes a little bit of some stuff. And hopefully you can hear that a little bit. Garbage can, it sounds like Luigi is a little bit frightened. If we look at King Boo, so we get some coins there. I'm thinking, King Boo takes some doing to defeat. And, in the games, when the ghost bosses and different things for the different sections of the mansion have different, it takes a different amount of time to get to defeat them. So we have that as well there. So those are some of the things, the characters that Luigi might need to jump on or suck into the poltergust or defeat or something like that. So we see some of those. And then there's a bunch more scannable things. So I will keep returning to kind of showing what they do or what they say as we go. But we do have the character to see that. And that is fine, but not included in this set. And EGAD, or Professor EGAD or whatever, is also not included in this set. And then the rest of the set is actually these course builder modules here, and they're very specifically sort of broken up in a modular style. I will say this is one of the last ones you build, but it does have the start here. So we see a start kind of area there, which those don't come in every set. I know they come in like the sets that come with the playable characters, but it came in this one as well. So that is nice. So that's a little module. And then we have all this connection stuff here that essentially amounts to the Luigi's Mansion kind of thing. And it's built kind of, each of these modules are built individually. And then we have some pieces left over at the end that build up some of these pathways that make up the eventual course in front of me here. So I'm actually going to take some time to break this apart at least and show the modules as on their own as they were built. And I think that'll give us the best sense, and will make the most sense as I go through this on how this was done. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove some of these things and set them aside and kind of bring them out. And part of the fun about the course builder stuff is that it does have this modularity such that you could add to this. You could change up the kind of location, or like how these things are come together very easily, and then of course add it to other sets, like other of the Luigi's Mansion sets, but other sets as well, and that is all very nice. So I kind of move these things around a little bit. This one is kind of just across the section of where some paths could separate out from the start there, and everything, and that's kind of done at the end. And then we have these other little modules here. This one is done, or these two are maybe for the characters, and King Boo has their own kind of special thing there. So the first one I want to make note of is the kind of first thing you build after you build the garbage can ghost, and that is this. So this is really interesting, and this is the hub for the Luigi Mansion. This is like the core center sort of element to this. So it's built kind of interesting ways. So we start off with some plates here. We use these like A-frame type plates, or these angled plates, to get this nice kind of octagonal pattern here. So we have these different prongs coming out from which we can build the course onto. It's built pretty simply. We do have a turntable in here, so this whole construction actually spins around, which is great. And then we have these different like archways or windows, and they are detailed. We got the nice gold leaves at various places throughout there, so some gold accents. Over here we got the spider web. We have the door right there, which we can pop open, and over here we kind of have it looking a little bit boarded up or something. This is supposed to be the rotating central hallway, and so like as we're going through the course, we might come back to this, and it will move us to the next sort of area, or one of the other areas, as we go through this, and then we can return back to this. So it does have one of those tiles with the scanning thing there. Has a couple little arrows as the pictograph that denotes that. And when I put Luigi on there and he scans it, I'm actually having a hard time seeing what he is doing. And I know I'm getting some coins, but it makes some different sounds, and it almost sounds like it's turning or something there. And that is fine. So this is kind of the main thing. I think this is really nice. I think having the rotating hallway there is a good choice. It makes sense. Build for this, pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. Does use some of these special plates there. It is on that turntable, pretty low profile, pretty sturdy, does have room in there, but not like a ton going on up here. The ornamental details or the kind of build stuff there feels about appropriate, but not not crazy in any real way. And I think overall this serves as a nice centerpiece for this, and gives us access to everything else in the set once we expand out from these kind of various points here. So I actually thought this was really nice, really smart. And then the rest of it is kind of all these different modules. We get extra pieces to connect things to other things. I don't remember exactly which ones were built first or second or third or anything like that. So I'm kind of going to go through them one by one, and maybe I'll attach stuff together as I go if I can reasonably do that in some way, and still be able to focus on the thing at hand. But let's do that. So this one I thought was really interesting. I don't think it's the first one you build, but this is a kind of detailed picture frame here sort of module. And the idea is that Toad is trapped within the painting. So this is done really nice. It's actually built very similar to some of like the wall sections or some of the other stuff. I think you can you can see some of the similar styling as like the central hallway there, with these nice ornamental kind of flowy vine like pieces used for the picture frame. And Toad does look like they are stuck in or trapped in a painting. So the little gold details are quite nice. We have some space. We can connect this to other things. A little bit of studs on the side. There's some bigger panel pieces or bigger, taller brick pieces used in there. A lot of these have this kind of stuff on the top. And there's not like a ton that can be done with this. We do have a scannable thing. And in order to get Toad kind of framed up in the picture frame there, they stand on a little stool or something that actually covers up one of these scannable things. And this one looks like the icon down here is kind of an exclamation mark in like a bubble. And just so we can scan that, we get a heart and some coins or something. And he's back. So that is nice. So if we rescue Toad from there, if we knock them out of there or whatever, the way it's set up, it does get covered up a bit here. So we would rescue Toad and scan that, and I think that is okay. So we do get this like picture frame kind of thing there, which I think is nice. The next one, I'm actually not sure what this was supposed to be, because I thought at first this might be the bed, and actually Luigi was sleeping there for a second. I thought this was going to be a bed, but I don't think it is. I keep turning it on, turning it off, turning it on, turning it off. Maybe I'll switch up how I'm doing this. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like a table or something like that. This is, I think that makes sense a little bit. So this was a really interesting module. You can see kind of the structure for how it's built on the bottom using some of these specialized like Mario rounded plates and extra thick plates and different stuff. So it's all tiled out here with this kind of checkerboard pattern with the tan and the dark bluish gray, which I think works well. It almost feels like it would be like black and white, but there's something going, there's like a sort of filter on it that is coloring it like this, or some sort of glow or haze or something. But this is an interesting little contraption here, like other Mario stuff. This does have some like play features built into this. So you can see some of the Technic here and that connects to all of this. We can connect to this module up there. And then you can also hopefully see we have a scannable thing here on the side and another one there. And to me, those icons look like can tops, or like coins, or a flathead screwdriver or flathead screw or something like that. And then if we kind of move this, it's almost like this is like a table, like a dining table or something, and it kind of hops around a little bit here. But it does a little bit more than that, because it can also rotate on its like center kind of area there. And when we look on the bottom of this, we get another kind of scannable thing. So if we're like jumping on this, we can get one, we can maybe get the other, and maybe it takes some doing to kind of get to that last one that is hidden under the table there. And let me just scan these and see what we get. So if I jump on this, we get a little bit of a coin. We'll do that, get a little bit of a coin, see if we can't get, the other one here. And some of these are using like another coin thing. And these are using mostly like the pins with, less friction. So they do rotate easily, but we don't have like a ton of clearance. So this, will find places to rest as it's sort of traveling. If we just move it kind of without the little lever there, we can get it like this, and we can see that it could feasibly rotate around this. It's not perfectly balanced because it does have these extra plates there and the inverted tile with the scannable sticker on it, and that will like change the weight of this a little bit. But or maybe this is supposed to be a pool table. And these are like the pockets. I didn't even think about that until just now. And maybe that's what it's supposed to be. And that's kind of fun as well, if that is the case. But it sort of jumps around here and can flip over, and we have things that we can interact with as we go through this in order to maximize our coin gathering and our point gathering there. So that is kind of that section, and I'm just going to place these haphazardly on the course as we have them. So I didn't know totally what this was, but I liked it, and we don't like waste pieces here necessarily. It just looks really good and is fun. I think I'll get these out of the way because they are pretty similar to each other. We have these like wall sections, or what I'm calling like wall sections essentially. There's not anything scannable on these, and they kind of go in between the different modules or the different paths that we could take through this, and they're almost all the same. So these are identical, a little bit of gold up here, similar kind of tops there, and we just build these kind of wall sections. So nothing too special about them, gold leaves there. The other one we have here has some extra little detailing on it, and I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. So we have these like bits clipped on here, and it almost looks like hands like holding something, but I don't think that's what it's supposed to be. It's just a little bit elusive to me, but it's pretty much the same as this. We don't have the like split colors of the tan and that this color, which is like nougat or something, or light nougat. We just have all of this. There's some studs on the side. And we add some little clip pieces in there, so you can angle these. I just don't know what that is. If you know, let me know in the comments. But like the other side is functionally the same. And again, these kind of can be used to break up some of these spaces, and it's helpful to use those to like be pseudo barriers between these rooms or these sections of the mansion that we must use the rotating hallway to access the next part, because we can't just go through these or go around these or something. Obviously in play you could realistically do whatever you wanted, but in order to like run the course in the like proper way, depending on how it's set up, these wall sections can be used to section off the different areas of the mansion, which is nice. The next one we'll do here, I think, is well, if this is a pool table and not a dining room table, this has sort of dining room elements to it here. So this one's one of the smaller ones. It's built on one of these like 6x6 special kind of Super Mario plates there, those base plates. It's built up with similar pieces and similar stuff throughout here. This one also has some functionality, so you can already see some of the Technic inside here. It's got a little like candelabra with some red candles and some flames. We have a goblet or a glass over here. And then this to me looks to be like a plate on maybe a charger or something like that. And we have one of those domes over it to keep the food hot or something. And then we have this little section built up here. This little knob on the back, this little extension, is what's connected to the Technic there. And actually, if we move that, we can see what happens when we, we'll just do that. So when we do that, the cover for what ostensibly is like a meal or something pops up, and if we like really got crazy, we could bop this out of here. And this is one of several gems or hidden gems to collect in this. So we can see kind of the diamond icon there using some translucent pieces, which makes that work. And if I go back to my Luigi, we get a diamond pop up on there and some coins and different things. So this is hidden, but as we come to this module, we want to see what is under there. We can sort of actuate this. Super simple mechanism. It does work pretty effectively. You can kind of see how it's done a little bit through here. It's just a super simple lever, but I thought it was nice how this like folded up really, really flush with everything. I like how this sat kind of recessed in there, but when it's down like that, it's going to stay up. This isn't going to like just immediately fall back down to this is the weight of that itself. And then when we do that, we can recess these couple little pieces in there to kind of align the top thing, which is really, really nice. So I think this is a super fun little hidden objective to get here, and I appreciate that. So we have the kind of dining area there, and that is well and good. The next one, now I'm not sure what this one's supposed to be, but I guess I have a little bit of a guess, and I want to say this is like a restroom or something here. Now, we do see this section that is similar to the wall section there, and there appears to be like a hole. So I think this is like a mouse hole or something, and then this is maybe a little bit of cheese. I could be completely wrong about that, but that is how I read that, and that can be, you know, connected to one of these sort of that way. And then on the other side of that wall, we have this area. So right off the bat, we're going to see we have something. It is another one of the gems. It will scan very similar, but maybe in a different color for this one, because it does have a different color of stuff. And the diamond is a different color for that one. And this is pretty simple. It just sits in here. The reason I think it's like a restroom or a bathroom or something is because this kind of looks like a toilet or something to me, like a toilet bowl, and then like the back of the toilet there. I could be totally wrong about this, but that's just what I read it as. This could be like a flushing thing. It could be where TP is. I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but that's where my head went. And the build for this is all pretty good. Again, we have a little bit of some functionality in here. It's similar to the other one. So we have a bit of a lever that will pop up, and you can see there's just that blue piece down there. And this one actually will not like stay based on its own weight. So even if we move this isn't going to necessarily come back. We can get it back there, but then when we drop down this lever, that is going to actuate. But when this is in there, it becomes a little bit easier. I found that it's not like sitting down there, that weight is not totally enough to get it like all the way sort of in there, but it is heavy enough at least to get this there. So then we can bop that and pop out the gem and get access to those points and that reward. I think this is simple, effective if it is what I think it is. I think that's nice. And the functions, you know, for a lot of these things are the little like actions that they do. We're seeing we got like kind of a lever sort of function with some other axes of direction and movement here. This one's essentially a lever that reveals something and pops something up as well. And I think the same could be said for this, but we do have some direction changes and some different things in there, which I think is nice. And this is all sort of kind of coming together. I am sort of hastily kind of trying to do this as I go here. We'll get them there, and I think we will put the grabber or whatever this is over here, and we'll do something like that. Yeah, we can make that work. And then I will take a handy dandy wall here. We'll do something like that, and we'll kind of keep building this out. So we can start to kind of populate this in whatever ways. And the last kind of major section here, I want to say, is kind of doing this in an odd way. There's two major sections left. So this one, I think it's pretty obvious. This is a bed, and I think this is really, really well done. So again, this is what the bottom looks like. This has some functionality as well that I maybe just spoiled. It may be kind of obvious. We build the bed frame using these ornamental gold pieces there, similar kind of stuff. We've seen beds built like this before. This one's like relatively big, but I think it scales well with the characters that are in the Mario line. We build kind of this like skirt there using these tan corner tiles, has the place to connect it there. I was surprised that the like headboard and the footboard are the exact same, but not a huge issue there. And then we have, again, some functionality when jumping on the bed, I believe. So if we move this in the center, this isn't actually attached to anything. It's a little bit of a Technic structure there with some lift beams and different things. And then we have these like angled slopes on the inside. And this kind of rests in there, but we have some movement where we can put it down even further into the bottom of that. And when we do that, both ends of the bed flip up. Then we build this little pillow over here, which is like 2x3 using some different slopes. And it has the third and final gem officially that is in this set. So that will scan with another color gem piece there. And it's another kind of hidden little thing. You could easily like switch this around. So maybe that's why the headboard and footboard are kind of the same sort of shape and using the same pieces there. So we can get that on there. If we like bop on the middle, the pillow can kind of come flying off, and then we can scan that gem there. I think this is nice, you know, playing on like jumping on the bed, playing maybe a little bit under like monsters under the bed that like it's just going crazy and things like that, which feel very like Halloween, feel very horror to me, which I think is nice, which is what I wanted for this stuff. And so I'm happy to be able to have some of that. And I'm struggling to kind of figure out how I want all of this to go together. But we can pop the bedroom over here. Why don't we put this last wall right there, even though it's right next to another wall? We have one of these, which we can maybe use to build out the final kind of section. And the final kind of section is the King Boo's sort of tower here. And this was really, really nice and fun to build. It's using one of these like bigger kind of Mario base plate things like that. And we built essentially like this castle, but there's some functionality with this as well. And it almost looks kind of like a catapult. It looks a little bit different. This one is attached with a hinge here. So we could move this to other sides. We could attach other things to this, but we can also like set it up with a hinge so that we can get it, you know, closer to some other part of the structure of the course as we're building it out. You know, for now, I'll just, you know, I can attach it out there or something. I could move it to the other side. I could just take that off and try to get this its own way. And this is built in some different sections and had some of the more interesting techniques in it. It's kind of looking like a castle a little bit here, which I think is intentional. So some nice buildings, some archways going throughout here. We got some of these columns up top, or these kind of points where the roof might come together. And we alternate some different colors with blacks and grays up there. We have the ornamental kind of gold here, more archways. We have some nice colors for these leaf pieces up here, over on the side, and then we have the rear. And then this whole thing is a really fun feature. So I liked how they did this kind of play feature. And I don't know if I've seen, I don't maybe know if it's been applicable for other Lego sets to use a mechanism like that. So we use these Technic beams, which have like kind of the alternating pinholes on them. And we add on this little kind of level here. This is actually one of these like floor tiles or base plate pieces, but it has the pre-applied sticker in it with some arrows going sort of left and right. And I'm not used to seeing them on these pieces, but it makes sense to have them here. And we have some little extra things there. And so this connects to some of these beams going up and down, which are actually like the half wide beams that we connect with some axles. And then we have some pieces that it's a little bit tough to see that we pin this down on the bottom, and then we have an axle kind of coming up through a plate with Technic pinholes in it as well. So this moves right to left there. It can also move up and down. And when it does that, we have this section back here, which actually isn't like connected, but we're using some inverted slopes in there so that even when this is in the center, it might be a little bit off. And as we move this, from side to side, it changes kind of the angle of what's sitting in there. But also as we go up and down, it changes that a bit as well, which I think is really, really nice. This whole section in the middle here is not connected, but it's using some window frame kind of pieces. And then we put a little structure with some Technic through the middle of it. So if I were to pop this off the back, we might be able to see what that looks like and see what this looks like. So it's this little contraption here. Then we can maybe see more of the internals there. So this moves up and down and right to left. And the pivot point is at really good spots for both of these. So I just think this is a very nice way of having like a lot of range of motion and a lot of things there. And we use some kind of clever stuff to accentuate that motion, because once this is in there, this ultimately doesn't have like a ton of space it can move. Even when we go all the way to one side, it's only leaning like a little bit here. When we go up and down, we can kind of make that lean a little bit more aggressive there, so it looks like it's leaning a little bit more. And then when we add King Boo to this, which we can kind of set them atop their tower, that makes it look even more exaggerated because we have all this extra length here, sort of like a door opening and closing, moving further and faster at the very end away from the hinge point. And so when we move this side to side, now we really get the sense that this is like rocking back and forth a little bit. When we move it up and down, we really get the sense that it's kind of like jumping out of there and really leaning off. And we can move that all around. It provides some nice counterbalance too, so that this panel here, or this little sort of platform, is elevated, and we can get Luigi on there. And I'm hoping that this is like enough to kind of come back to its own orientation at various points, but maybe I need to work on that a bit more. And I didn't get to see what that was. So it's playing some interesting sounds, playing some different stuff. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually intended like some other things to like knock King Boo off of there. I mean, it's supposed to like topple King Boo from their tower, but it does get like studded down with 4 studs, and I think you would have to be pretty aggressive with this, and maybe eventually it would come tumbling down like that, and that's sort of the effect we're going for, because King Boo is gonna take multiple jumps and multiple scans to topple, and then once they are toppled, they're going to take like multiple jumps or multiple scans to be defeated on here. And so maybe that works. We can stud it down. Eventually we can still get this to fall off and topple King Boo and then get over to it. So I think that is pretty okay. I didn't think it was going to work that well, but it does. And we can, find whatever place we want to attach this to somewhere, and we can build out our course. And I have the kind of candelabra here off of there. And that's kind of everything that's in this set. You do not get the Luigi in this set, even though it is Luigi's Mansion, Haunt, and Seek. So you get garbage can, ghost, you get the grabber or grabbing ghost, you get a toad or toad, and you get King Boo here. And then we get all these different modules and the connecting pieces to move from this. And so the play pattern, like having the start here, we can go to these things on the side, find some gems right away. Maybe we would want to move those over here. We can't go over to this wall because, well, there's a wall there. We can get like into the hallway. That can maybe lead us here, which is rescuing Toad from the trapped picture, and maybe we go right to the garbage can ghost or something from there. We can come back to the hallway if we need be. We can end up over at the bedroom and do the bed. We can't get out of the bedroom because these walls are here. Maybe that leads us to the rec room or whatever, if this is a billiards or pool sort of table or something, which I don't know, the pattern on the floor and whatever kind of feels like that to me. So if we have like kitchen, hallway, bathroom, bedroom, like the sort of what did I call this, the pool hall or the game room or the sort of lounge or whatever that is over there. And then we can finally get to King Boo's tower and topple them, and all while sort of traveling back to the central hub and everything. Now, this one doesn't come with like one of these that says like end or goal or something, which these starter sets do come with. So we don't have that, but I think because, you know, Luigi Mansion is a different type of game than the original like Super Mario stuff. It doesn't maybe have the same kind of flag dropping objective or something like that. Maybe we add it in when we combine it with the starter course, but at least as is, it doesn't have that flag with Bowser on it or whatever. But it does have a thing of like, you know, there's sort of bosses in each section of the house in the game or of the mansion, and then there's kind of King Boo is sort of the final boss there. And I think you get a sense of that here with the different characters. We can interact with Toad to rescue him. We got a couple sort of mobs or oppositional characters of various degrees of difficulty and styling there. Different rooms, potentially different kind of puzzles to figure out as we move through this. And then we have the sort of final boss in King Boo there. And that's everything here. Now, I think this is really fun. I think this is a good idea. I think the Luigi Mansion game for like the GameCube was pretty popular. I think they've re-released it. They've made sequels to it for different systems, 3DS. I don't know if there was one on the Wii or whatever. I think there was one, maybe it was like a remaster or a redo for the Switch. I think there was another one that released with the Switch 2, which is like all the way even into 2025. This set is from 2022, and it's the Haunt and Seek. It is Luigi's Mansion. There's ghosts in here. So this is my sort of video for Halloween 2025. And, you know, in sort of ways, these stars aligned that I happen to have Luigi here finally, one of the playable characters, and it happens to be Luigi. I love horror stuff. I love spooky stuff. I love Halloween. And in lieu of like any other big like finding hidden side or monster fighters or things like that I might otherwise use to celebrate on the channel, I think this is like really, really fitting. I mean, last year for Thanksgiving, I think I did a Nexo Nights thing that was like a Thunder Mace and a Macy's Day Parade, and it was a stretch back then. So this I think is more fitting and more appropriate for Halloween, which I think is really, really cool. Maybe there are people going to haunted houses and going to haunted mansions. I know I like going to those things, and this is sort of an embodiment of that. I will show the extra pieces. It's all your 1x1s, your studs, your tiles, your pins, your bushings, your little clip pieces, extra little gem piece, which is used for King Boo's kind of crown there. Different Technic pins and all your little pieces, your tiny pieces, your light pieces. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, nothing special here, nothing printed or anything like that. And this set is 877 pieces. You get kind of the 4 characters there, and then all these different modules and a good amount of like course materials here. So it is an expansion set, but it's pretty big, I want to say. And there's lots of different ways we can have this sort of set up. And maybe it would serve me well to, as I'm kind of talking about the value here, to change how this is set up right now. So let me kind of go through and do that. I think this retailed for $80. I paid $90 for it. And I think that feels, about appropriate to me. $80 feels about appropriate to me. And then I think, $90 what I paid for it, or even like what the $100 kind of general sort of thing seems to be for this, feels about right. And I'm kind of surprised by that. I think the Mario stuff can occasionally have a bit of a premium, especially for, this kind of stuff. And I don't feel like this is too outside the realm of reasonability for a price for this set. So almost 900 pieces. $80. That feels pretty good. Of course, no minifigures here, but we do get like the prints and we do get the characters. And these Mario characters do like they have some value. I mean, some of them are only available in one set or another, and some of them are more popular than others. So I actually do think that they do hold they are valued a little bit differently than maybe every other kind of character, and some of them may be worth more than certain minifigures or things like that. And as I'm kind of finishing up sort of putting this together here, we can get a sense of what this looks like. Maybe I will keep that one there, and maybe I'll put this one here, and then we will put this kind of at the back, which is, I don't believe this is the exact same setup as I had it in the beginning, or what the instructions had it in, but it's probably pretty close, and getting this all together there. And then of course we have the last wall, cannot forget that, and we kind of have everything in the set here. So again, the like progression for this, maybe go to these side areas right off this main start, get to the hallway, go through the garbage can monster, get into the rotating hallway. We have walls sort of separating out these different areas, including the sort of picture frame, which will be hung on a wall that Toad is trapped in. So that all makes sense. We have the area where it's like the bedroom over here. We got the area where it's the rec room or whatever. And then we have kind of the final boss area. I do have it kind of coming off of a wall, but because this is like hinged there, you can sort of see it being like right here where we spin around and we get to this gray kind of plate there. Then we get over to this gray plate and can finish this up. So I think that all makes sense there. We don't get that in this set. I feel really good about what I paid for this. So I see it on other retailers for $200 or different things since it's retired. And that's a little bit surprising. I don't know how the Super Mario Course Builder stuff is going to, how it's going to be appraised, in the future. It may not be that these things are particularly valuable, although if these are the only ways to get, the grabbing ghost or the garbage can ghost or something, maybe that is worth it to some people. And King Boo, I think, is in other sets, including like some of the more recent sets and things like that. So I don't really know what the future holds for this. I think I feel like I got a fair value. I don't know if I would have bought this for too much more. I think any like 100 or less feels pretty fair in my mind, just looking at the amount of stuff here. But it is like one of the bigger expansion sets, so it could also be like segmented off into different things. And I don't know how many Luigi Mansion sets there were. I know there's at least one other one, which is like EGAD's Lab or something, and that's what comes with the Poltergust, I believe. But I'm not really sure. On the Lego Shop at Home website, it says this is retiring soon, but then it also says it's a retired product, which makes sense. It's been a couple years, and we're getting just more stuff. I don't know if we're getting more Luigi's Mansion stuff necessarily, but tons of other stuff. I think $80 for this is actually pretty reasonable, considering like Lego pricing, even in 2025, certainly in 2024, in 2023, this released and was like available in 2022. And putting this out for $80 like out the door, I think is really good. And maybe at the time people were still like, oh, that would have been overpriced based on the amount of stuff here. But like 10 cents per piece, whatever it is, whatever the ratio is, whatever the metric is, for the amount of things I have here, the amount of build experience I have here, characters and playability and stuff for this, and the IP attached to it, I actually think like $80 for 877 pieces feels sort of reasonable. And I would like to see more stuff like that in 2025, and I don't know if we always are. Could be that the Lego Super Mario Course Builder stuff are some of the better ones. I would say I'm most interested in them when I see them on sale, or even like that Bowser muscle car from a couple years ago. I thought was like really, really good value for what it was. It was a good build, like a really fun build, and also integrated into this stuff. I think some of the Mario Kart stuff, now that they're doing that, is like really, really compelling as well. But I think this is pretty fair, actually, which is surprising. And I'm happy I was able to get this sealed, retired, without paying like a crazy amount of money. So, I think the value here, it makes sense. This is like a lot of course to add. This is a good amount of expansions to have for an expansion set. And I know it's not like the biggest one. There have certainly been other ones with more pieces, but for being sort of spooky themed, Luigi Mansion themed, ghost themed, haunted stuff here, it really, really caught my eye, and I'm so grateful I was able to get this and look at this and struggle to get these sections connected again. But this was really, really fun, and happy Halloween and boo and egad and all of that wonderful stuff. So I'm very, very pleased with this. This was a lot of fun for me. So just grateful and thankful. And I think that's it. I like it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below. I'm so grateful and thankful for people who watch, especially who watch to the end so they get these messages. Liking and subscribing is like super, super helpful for the channel to grow. And I appreciate that. So thank you very much, each and every one of you. If you want to support the channel in a different way, you can do that here on YouTube, but you can give money to the channel, membership, supers, and thanks. There's merchandise. I'm wearing some of it. It is cool. tpublic.com, search for SoBricks. You can, there's a link in the description. There'll be affiliate links. There'll probably be an affiliate link to buy this, but it might be like way overpriced. So I don't really know, depending on what the marketplace is that I have affiliate links for. You can use those, support the channel, buy me a coffee, Patreon, all of that wonderful stuff. Check the description for more ways to support. It is greatly appreciated. I do pay for these things with my own money. I don't get these things sent to me or provided to me by any company or anything like that. So I just love making videos about Lego and building Lego and all of that wonderful stuff. So I'm happy to do that. But if you want to give back, because these videos offer you some sort of value, there are ways for you to give back as well. And none of that's needed, none of that's necessary, but it is greatly appreciated and it is super helpful. So thank you very much. And with all of that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.